Well, they closed down the mill and they closed down the mine. They said you can't work but pay your taxes on time. Got 3 little babies gonna starve to death or freeze. We started making white lightning, it was Grandpa's recipe. Run, rebel, run to nowhere. Run, rebel, run to the Scott County Jail.
Good evening, everyone, and happy Easter. You are locked in for the next hour with myself and my co-host, Dr. Christy Sumner. Hey, Christy.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is going to be a great show. First of all, happy Easter to everybody. We hope you've had a very blessed day. I'm not sure where you guys are at, but it was a gorgeous day here today. So I hope everybody had a great time with their family and celebrating Easter.
Yeah. And so we're lucky to have a special show tonight. We've been real excited about this for the last, 3 months or so?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So we're really excited about that, but even more excited to be here together finally on a Sunday night.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the same place. Miranda's got everything in a trailer and in various other locations before it actually gets into her house, but we are here together at the historic Scott County Jail tonight.
Yeah, so tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. We obviously are live, and we're going to be live for the next hour and maybe 10 minutes. But we do have a pre-recorded interview that we will be playing. So we'll be live over here in the chat room manning that. And so if you do have any questions or anything or want to discuss anything during the interview, we will be watching that. But we've got to say a happy gotcha day to Miss Sally back here.
Yeah, so she's been with us for a year now as our little mascot. Yeah, we're talking about you. She's been here for a year now as our little mascot, and we thank everybody that so much who supports her. People stop by and bring her treats. People stop by and bring her monogrammed water bowls and cat towers and beds and snacks and treats and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, stockings. She got stockings for Christmas. Little spoiled little thing got 3 stockings for Christmas. So we can't thank everybody enough for their support of Sally and everything that she's done here at the jail. She's definitely our number one employee, I think.
Absolutely. And we do have Sally stuff over in the gift shop. We've got Sally puzzles, which I think we are officially out of right now, that we'll be getting some more soon. Working on a really cool Sally shirt that will be coming out here very soon as well. So a lot of cool Sally things. Come by, see her. I know most people know her before they come in the door. And so as soon as they're walking in, they're saying hi to Sally and wanting to pet her and see her. So she's here. You need to be here too. Mm-hmm. We're open 5 days a week, Thursday through Monday. And so yeah, a lot of great things coming up here in April as well.
Yeah, we've already actually had a very busy month. We've had numerous paranormal investigators. We've had escape room players as well. And so we've got coming up the rest of this month, we've got private groups coming in for paranormal investigations, for guided ghost hunts. We've got a private tour group coming in one afternoon. I think there's going to be about 20 of those ladies that are coming in. And so it's really hopping here, no pun intended, in April. So if you need to get on our calendar, if you want to do a paranormal investigation or a guided ghost hunt or an escape room, please contact us and we'll get you on the calendar.
Yeah, and if you have a special group and you want a special daytime group tour, please reach out to us at the number on the bottom of the screen, and or you can email us at historyhighwayshaunts.com or at gmail.com, and we will get that date. We can accommodate large groups here as well with guided daytime tours. So.
Yeah, or just message us on Facebook. You can reach us there as well. So, but the big event that we want everybody to be aware of is happening next Saturday. That will be our blessing of the bikes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Last year was really fun. We had a pretty good turnout last year. We're hoping for a better one this year. So our blessing of the bikes, it will start at 9 a.m. and go until 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have Dean's Pit Stop here for a food option, and they're going to do some breakfast as well as some lunch options. So you can purchase that while you're here. You can also purchase tickets to tour the jail. Just come on out and have a really good time with us. It's going to be a really great day of fellowship, of blessings of the bikes, of, just hanging out with some really cool people. So if you ride, come over, spend a few hours with us, and get your bike blessed, and just have a good day with us.
Yeah, and so we've got let's see, I want to make sure that I say their name right, because we do not have a local chapter here. So it's the Christian Motorcyclists Association, Servants of Jesus, number 1256 chapter that's coming out of Jacksboro. They've got their big group that's coming out. They're the ones that did this for us last year. And just can't stress enough that this is a free event if you want to come out and get your bikes blessed. But we do have personalized, really cool Blessing of the Bikes 2023 stickers that if you come and you take a tour of the jail, then you're going to get a free sticker. It's a free helmet sticker. So if you have any questions on this, you can find this information on our website. The website address is scrolling down below. And then also we've been posting a lot about this on Facebook as well. So you'll be able to go find that information, and that's coming up this coming Saturday. So we do have a little information about an event that will be coming up on May 15th, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But it is actually going to be a poker run. We did this is the 3rd annual one, and so we are going to be a stop on that here at the jail. Or excuse me, it's not a poker run, it's like a poker run, but it's a dart run. And so we'll have that information that will be flashing up on our website this week, as well as on next week's show as well.
Mm-hmm. But as Miranda said, this is a very cool show for us. Ben Fuller, who is a Christian recording artist with Sony Music, he and his crew were out here last year, and they actually filmed his song Chasing Rebels. They filmed the video for that here at the historic Scott County Jail. And so we had the opportunity to meet Ben, and he was gracious enough to spend about an hour with us answering questions that you, the audience, actually submitted to us. So he answered those questions. And so this will be we are going to show you the pre-recorded interview, but we will be in the chat room answering questions as well. And so if you have any of those, just type them out, and we will be answering those as we monitor this pre-recorded interview. But for us, it was really interesting to get to sit and talk with him, to hear about his journey, his testimony, and then what it was like to film here at the historic Scott County Jail. So we really hope that you enjoy this interview that we conducted with Ben Fuller.
Yeah, and please feel free to share this interview out, because it is one, Ben was on tour whenever he sat down with us. So it's important that we get this message out to everybody we can. So if you don't mind, please share this out in all of your different sources. And like Chris said, please enjoy the interview. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are so excited to be here today. I've been looking forward to this interview for months now.
I have as well. Very excited about this one.
Yeah. So we have Christian contemporary music artist Ben Fuller here with us. Hey, Ben.
Hey, girls. I'm excited.
Doing?
I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. So where are you joining us from today? Where are you at in the world?
Well, I wish I was in prison with you girls. I know that's weird to say, but we just rolled into Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And would you believe it's like 75 degrees here right now already? It's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's 75.
Well, that's
Nice.
Louisiana for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a little warm, I think. So I need to like switch from long sleeve to short sleeve and shorts and, you know, all the rest. It's summertime here.
So you're actually down there on tour.
Yes, I am. Yeah, we're on tour with a band called Casting Crowns and another band called We Are Messengers. And they're just amazing. It's been so cool. And we're playing these really cool theaters. Like there's a lot of theaters and arenas. And so I think 33 cities is what we're signed up for. And it's just been so cool to just see how they do things. And but my favorite part is meeting people. And I just love meeting people. And so they allow me to go out in the middle of the night at about 8:30 before Casting Crowns comes on and just say hi to people. And so it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's been fantastic. Well, we've been obviously following your journey since you filmed here at the jail for Chasing Rebels. And it really is amazing that the crowds that you've been able to touch, you know, the people that your music has touched and the testimony that you've been giving through your music.
Yeah.
So during during the concerts and stuff that you have, are you seeing like that reaction as well? That positive reaction to your music?
Yeah, it's been really, really, I think one of the biggest things for me is as the crowds seem to grow and, you know, playing in front of, you know, multiple thousands of people, it can get a little daunting at times and feel a little disconnected, if that makes sense. Like it's like there's a whole lot of people, like, you know, when we were in last week, we were in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and we played an arena there, and there was probably 4,000 people or so. And you know, it's just all of them staring at me on stage. Like, first of all, I don't really deserve to be up here on this stage because I'm not that special. But I just, you know, I realized that it is such an amazing gift to just tell the truth. And for me, you know, it's always been, life was a pretty hard struggle. And the funny thing about, you know, filming Chasing Rebels at your jail is I never got caught. You know, I never went to jail. All the years of using drugs and alcohol and the awful things that I did, I never got caught. And so it's been cool to just tell that truth from the stage and tell of the freedom that I found and how I found it, you know, and how God has just been allowing me to get on these stages and just tell the truth. So
Nice. Well, let's kind of jump back and talk a little bit about how you got to where you are. Can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and your testimony?
Yeah. So I grew up, I basically grew up on a dairy farm in Vermont, and you know, Vermont is an amazing state. It's extremely small. It's about 2% Christian. And so I never went to church ever, and except for funerals and weddings. And, you know, so faith was not a part of my journey at all. I kind of fought my way through life. And, you know, at a young age, I think about 16, had contemplated suicide. And, you know, there's something very powerful when you put a gun in your mouth and you are close to pulling the trigger, you know, and there's a weakness, there's a moment of clarity also that happened for me. And that was seeing my friends, my mom, that was seeing the line out the funeral door, the grieving of people. Like I saw those visions and I couldn't go through with it. I struggled a lot just with my dad, my relationship with my dad, and just being accepted. You know, it was this generational thing of men are tough and men are strong. And so if we show emotion, we show weakness. And showing weakness is not okay, right? You need to be strong always. And so my dad just passed down. He was just tough love. And I hated that. So at 18, you know, I'd walked through the suicide stuff. And then at 18 years old, cocaine, alcohol, sex, all the things to try to fill all the voids and numb all the pain. And it worked. It did work. It worked for quite a long time, 14 and a half years. Wow. I ran away And like I said, I never got caught. You know, I never got busted. All the drugs, the late nights of drinking and driving, I never got caught. And so, I guess fast forward to 2017, I lost my best friend to a heroin overdose, and you know, that really wrecked me. But it still didn't fix me. I remember drinking at his funeral and numbing the pain. And it wasn't until later, it was about a couple months later, I started playing music and out in front of people. And so crowds started showing up, people started showing up. And next thing you know, they just said, hey, you should go to Nashville. Like, you could make it. You know, you could be a big star. I was like, what the heck? You know, and I always have loved to sing. Right. You know, I grew up singing, and the music would take me from some of the hard places that I was in and bring me into this like freedom, if you will. And so I just began singing a lot. So 2018 in the fall, I moved down to Nashville. A bunch of people pushed me to go. And I sold my house in one day. And the woman that bought it was from Nashville, Tennessee.
Wow.
And so I was like, wow. I was like, all right. So I moved down and I played Broadway, like the Broadway downtown, for a whole year of my life. And I thought that was the answer. And it was terrifying. I also was just drinking so heavily and driving home. And, you know, I just was lost. And so I think the question that kept coming up was, is this it? Is this it? Like, is this my life? Is this what life is all about? Is this living it to the fullest? And I think what happened next was it was so unexpected. I didn't see it coming at all, but it was a fall day in 2019, 1 year later after I'd lived in Nashville. And this family called me out of the blue, and they were from Vermont. And they said, hey, Ben, we know you're here. We're here. We'd like to have you over for dinner. You know, do you remember us from coming out to some of your shows in Vermont? And I said, oh my gosh, yes, I do. Wow. And so I went over to this family's house, the Davenport family, and they fed me a meal. And at the end of the meal, they asked me, do you want to come to church with us in the morning? And I'm pretty sure I had stuffed my pockets with beers and, you know, to just get a buzz on before I went over there and everything. And I was just like, I think I said yes with my mouth full. Like, I was just kind of like, sure, like, I owe you guys, you fed me, whatever. And that next morning, it was a Sunday morning, and Church of the City in Franklin, Tennessee, 3,000 people. And I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And I walked through the door, and it was the music. I can't explain it other than, like, I stood in the aisleway and I heard the music, and it was this music that was just so, I knew right off that I was going to sing this music for the rest of my life. I had no idea how or when or whatever, but I was so drawn to it. And I remember saying, like, to myself, God, if you're real, I'm tired of the way that I'm living. I'm tired of using drugs and alcohol and running away. I'm tired of the broken, sleeping around relationships and all the stupid things that I was lying and all the stuff. And I was like, if you're even real, like, change my life, dude. Like, if you're who they say you are, then fix me. Wow. Because I'm screwed up. Like, I'm messed up. And 2 months had gone by after that first experience. I started going to church every Sunday and just sitting there and feeling weird and feeling nothing and feeling weird and then feeling nothing. And I was like, is this even working? But all of a sudden I hadn't realized that my 17 beers a night had gone from 17 to 12 to 8 to 2 to, I don't even like the taste of alcohol anymore. I'm good. And all of a sudden, like, the F word was my favorite, but not Fuller. My last name. And so I'm like, the F words, like, all my swearing, my language, the way I talked about women, everything just left. And I was like, I felt convicted. And I was like, what is happening to me? And to be honest with you, I felt like Jim Carrey in Liar Liar. Like, I was like, the pen is blue. And I'm like, and I'm melting in my skin. And I'm like, what is happening? And all my friends are like, Ben, what is wrong with you, dude? Like, you're brainwashed. That church is brainwashing you. And I remember how lonely, I was so lonely. When I said yes to Jesus, I was so lonely. And it just, after a lifetime of doing things the other way, I questioned so much. I'm like, is this even real? Like, is this even right? But when I look back, even now, like when I look back at, this is 3.5 years ago, looking back, I'm like, these things all happened to me, but like, look at where I am, but look at where he's put me. It makes no sense to me. And as much as I try to preach the gospel and try to talk about Jesus and try to thank God, all these things, it's a mystery. But I know that my life is better, that I'm healthier, that I'm sober, that I'm waiting on my wife, from God. I'm 36 years old. And it's like, people still look at me sometimes like I'm crazy, but, I just got off a $500,000 tour bus and I'm in Louisiana, and I've never traveled in my life. And now I'm going to sing in front of a huge crowd of people tonight about how God has changed my life. It makes no sense to me, but it's like, so I've realized this, that I have no choice but to believe, because the common denominator was acknowledging him. And that was it. It's just being like, okay, God, you're real. Like, I trust you and I surrender. Like, I give up all these silly things that I was doing. And then that brings me to places like the historic Scott County Jail. And it's like, what am I doing at a prison? And no idea. After all these things, it's like my dreams. And the crazy thing is, I envisioned that. I had that. God gave me that as a vision, and it came true. And it like less than a month later, the vision, all of a sudden I'm standing out in the yard, and I'm like, what? And so it's just, I have no choice but to trust. And I just keep asking God for help. And, I don't have all the answers, but I do know that I'm sober and that I'm able to tell the truth and be unashamed about it. And I think that's the gift that he gave me, to share with everybody, to let everybody know that I don't know. It's confusing to me. It makes no sense, but I just know that when I asked for help, the help came. So,
and I love that story, and listening to it, as I was listening to it, I could hear bits and pieces of your song lyrics, right? Like, put the skeleton key in and open the door to my heart. And, you were lonely and all of that. So is that where you get the inspiration for your songs?
Yeah,
your background?
Absolutely. It was I wrote 117 songs in 7 months. And it's a crazy thing. And so I basically, once all this transition had happened, my manager Crystal came into my life. My other manager Neil came into my life, and they just started helping me. Next thing you know, I was sitting in front of these record labels, and next thing you know, Sony Provident, this guy named Blaine Barkus had sat with me, and he said, "Man, your story is powerful." He's like, I'd like to put you in the room with some songwriters. And he said, I believe you're going to help a lot of people. And so Blaine believed in me from the start. And after this transformation had taken place. And so I ended up signing in the middle of COVID with Sony Provident, and which is the Christian side of Sony. And they just said, hey, we're here to come alongside you and help. And next thing you know, Zach Williams calls me and says, hey, I want you to go on tour with me. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you want me to go? And then Casting Crowns they call, and they're like, hey, once you're done with Zach, we want you to come on tour with us. It's like, what? And so just all, like I said earlier, all these amazing things just started happening. It's just, so a lot of the song lyrics came from my story and have come from my life, because I think just now I'm at the point of, I can't talk about something that isn't real. I mean, I love Harry Potter. I love, fantasy movies. I love all that sci-fi stuff. I love all that. But it's like, I just know for my life, like, I just need to, I need to tell my truth and what's happened to me and this realness. And I just realized, like, I can't do music without having God in it. I've tried, and it just doesn't work because I'm just that different, I guess, just that change. Still the same guy, but just refined and just acting a lot different than I used to. So
yeah, and that's one of the things I noticed, because I was here the day that you guys were filming the video, and one of the things that really touched me and that I really noticed about the whole process was every time you guys, well, before you started with prayer, and you blessed the building, and then with every different scene change, I could hear you guys doing your prayer and asking for God to be in each of the different parts of the video. And to me, that was very touching to see, and it shows just the genuine nature of what you believe in Sony Provident, as well as your team. I thought, I personally myself, I got a blessing out of it, and it was really refreshing to see that happen. And I think that that's one of the reasons that everything just seemed to work out so smoothly and so beautifully with the video.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, Miranda. I was really blown away by that place and that building, and I felt like it was just so perfect. The everything, like you said, from the timing to the people that showed up, to me calling my brother-in-law and having him be this main character, this star of that video. But he spent a lot of time in jail, in real prison, and he struggled with real alcohol, and he was really ready to leave my sister, and he flew his whole family, and she was there too. And what folks don't know is he was pretty close to just ending his life not far before that video was filmed. And he called me and said, I need to come down and see you. And so we spent a few days together prior to the shooting of that video. And he was in a really, really bad place. And I prayed over him. And so I'm glad you brought up the prayer thing. It's like, it's awkward and it's weird. And it's like, and a lot of times for me, I'm like, does God even hear? I'm crazy. Am I talking to myself? And to put my hands on a 42-year-old roofer covered in tattoos, who's a fighter, and to put my hands on him and say, hey, I'm going to pray for you and ask God to help you. And he looks at me and goes, what did you just say to me? Like, get your hands off me, and to have him just receive that. And then 2 months later, answer the phone and say, I'll come down to this jail and film this thing with you. Sure. I'll do it. And so for me, it was an incredibly emotional time to be there at the jail, and just to witness, my brother-in-law and my sister mending their relationship, but also what God was doing within those prison walls. So.
Yeah. And the fact you got the piano out in the yard, that was a miracle in and of itself.
That thing was heavy. We should have, I think they filmed us carrying it all. It was just like, we need to do an outtake video of how it got in there. I mean, it was just like, it's so out of tune right now. It sounds awful. Oh my God, the prison piano. Yeah.
Because when I saw the video, I said, how in the world did they get that thing in there? Did it turn? Did it bend?
Yeah,
we got it in.
We flipped it up and then turned it and slid it through it was I don't know how, anyway. So everything is out of tune in there and it sounds awful now. So we could never, we'd have to have it very, there would have to be a professional tuner coming in if we were going to do another video with that piano, that's for sure. So it's good though.
Just speaking of videos quickly, and then we'll get to some questions, but speaking of videos, so when you write a song, do you have a vision in your mind of what you want the video to look like? Or do you work with other people to kind of bring a vision that you collaborate on? How does that process work?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm a very visual guy. And so what really blows me away is, I saw Scott County Jail before I saw Scott County Jail. And it's like, just the old school, the old doors, the skeleton keys. Miranda had a ring. You girls have a ring of skeleton keys sitting right by the door. I'm like, I walked in and was like, you're kidding me. I mean, it was so amazing. So I'm a very visual guy, and I love seeing the things as I write them. And so I'm that guy that's like, okay, I see this first and then I write it. And so like, I just believe that God shows me these images and these things pop up in my head, and I'll just write them down. And so it's like, when I see the skeleton keys, I'm like, oh my gosh, there they are. There's the ring. They're rusty. They're jingling. I can see that thing going into this door of my heart and opening, and the, the old noise of like it happening that way. And so I'm crazy. Some days I think I'm crazy, but other days I'm like, okay, that's real. And I want to write the sounds, if that makes sense, So.
Yeah. And real quick, I love the symbolism of in the video, the who I am video, with the lanterns and all of that. Just the symbolism that you put in your videos to me also has, besides the music, it complements the music to tell such an amazing story.
Wow. Yeah. So the Elliot Eicheldinger, his name is, he's an amazing director. He was there at Scott County Jail. He also did the Who I Am music video. And so him and I just worked so well together. And was like, hey, when I remember calling Elliot and be like, hey, do you want to go to prison? And he goes, yes. It was just like, yes, count me in, I'm going. He said, what do I need to bring? Just a toothbrush? It's like, yeah, exactly. So he helps, between his mind, my mind, and a couple other folks, and just like pouring ideas in. It really just took off. And those scenes, I mean, I still, it's funny, I went back and watched the music video the other day, and it's so emotional, because I'm like, how did he get those? How did he make it look like that? Like, I saw it all as we filmed the bits and pieces and the rooms and the behind the bars and all the stuff. I'm like, how did he? Anyway, the fact that it came together the way that it did, and I think the coolest thing though is that song is being played. That video is being played in prisons across the country. Mm-hmm. And Core Civic has this really cool database, if you will, that allows music and videos and things to stream and play in prisons. And they added that song. And so that song has been playing in prisons all around the country. And it's led to, which is even cooler, it's led to a prison tour that is currently being put together.
That is fantastic.
For the spring. And so visiting these men in prison, and they've seen the video, and they have questions, and they're just like, man, maybe I should try to open the Bible, or maybe I should just try to lay down some of the things that I haven't been able to lay down. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that it's really touched a lot of the local folks here in this community, because, here at the jail in and of itself, before it closed down, it had a very robust jailhouse ministry here. And a lot of the community, being located where we are, Jesus and the testimony is very, very important. Yeah. And also being in the area where we do have a very high rate of drug use and different aspects like what you had mentioned. Yeah. It's very prevalent here. And so this video really hit home, as well as the message in the song. It's so powerful. It really hit home to a lot of local folks. And that's a lot of the feedback that we've been getting from here.
Well, and Miranda, I think the other thing too is, it blows me away, is like, God could have picked any little jail, right? He could have, he literally could have picked any little jail anywhere. And he chose yours. And it's like, that also blows me away, because it's like he just knew that your community, and that we would be there, and that the message would be there, and that he would be there. And so it's like, that is what blows me away the most, is like, how many people are in this world, how many old jails. There's a lot of old historic jails around the United States. We could have flown somewhere, we could have gone somewhere, and it's so cool. Like that's what really blows me away, that mystery of God. Is like, why did he choose your jail and me and this music and all these things, because he knew that it was going to touch lives, and he knew that it was gonna point back to him. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so we've got some questions that some folks had sent in. We put a call out a few weeks ago to get people to write in their questions. And so we had really great response. So we're going to pull them up here on the screen as we ask here. So Jenny from Ocala, Florida says, how did you know that you were called to do faith-based music full time?
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize these questions were coming from around the world.
Yeah, from around the country.
Praise God, Jenny.
Amen.
I think what hit me was going back to the invite to church. I, first of all, was terrified to ever step foot in a church. And I was the guy that literally was like, this place will burn down if I walk in here because of all the bad I've done, and I'm like Mr. Tough Guy. And I can't say anything other than I felt the presence of God and that it was real. And it was the feeling of, I've never been higher than this in my entire life. And I've used a lot of drugs, and I've spent a lot of money, and I've done a lot of bad things. And what I think what hit me the most was like, I didn't have to do anything for this. I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to steal. I didn't have to spend money. I didn't have to do, I was like, what? And I swear, if somebody had filmed me when I walked in and stood in that aisleway, my feet would have been off the ground.
Wow.
When I was standing there. That's how I felt inside, because I just, it just hit me so hard. I felt so light. And so in that moment, Jenny, I just knew this is it. Like, it was for sure. That feeling, sometimes we get that feeling of like, I've got to go there. I know it's a hassle, but I'm going to do it anyway. And like, that's the feeling that I had, to do Christian music full time. And I just realized at that point, like, I couldn't sing about, beer drinking and women and back roads and all the things that I used to do, because that was the old me. Those are the things that I used to do. So that really made me jump full feet first into Jesus. Yeah. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got another one here. This is actually from another Jenny in Oviedo, Florida. Is there a special place or a setting that you go to in order to write your music? Like a special room, a special location?
I need to get to Florida. You know what I'm saying? The Jennies are in Florida right now. Praise God. It's like, it's still chilly in places, and it's time to go to Florida. I think, what instantly just came to mind was, I love to drive, and I love to just go out for a drive. It's springtime. Like, it's getting to be that time where you can roll the windows down and go out for a drive. The leaves are starting to come out. The birds are loud, and it's like, it's special. And so I honestly get a lot of inspiration when I drive. I don't listen to any music. I just leave the radio off and just go for a drive. And like, it's amazing. I'll pull over and write a bunch of stuff down. Like, all of a sudden I'll just start getting these thoughts or these images, or I'll see somebody crossing the street and be like, wow, what is it? I wonder what his name is or what he's doing. Or I'll see a bird just sitting in a tree branch at a stoplight. I'm like, what is that? And so I'll just get things that way. And I think everybody does it differently. I think every songwriter gets inspiration in different ways. But for me, it's kind of going for a quiet drive does it for me.
That's awesome. Now, just a quick follow-up of my own on that one. Now, when you start writing the lyrics, do you get the lyrics first and then the music or the melody, or does it vice versa? Does it switch?
So I think it starts with the vision. It kind of starts with a couple of pictures in my head, or seeing something, and all of a sudden, I think usually I'm like a lyrics first guy. In the case of the song "Who I Am," I remember, and mind you, and I love again that Miranda had brought up about praying before. We did the video and before different scenes and stuff. But I literally just say, "Hey God, what do you want to say? Like, What do you want to say? What do you want me to say? Because a lot of times I'm like, ready to yell at the guy who just cut me off, like I'm the guy that's like really quick to be like, what you just, and so I don't want to get myself in the way. It's like, God, what do you want? And so we just pray, and we prayed that day when I wrote that song, and with this guy named David Spencer, and he just started playing the piano intro. And I just remember sitting there and being like, I'm a child of the Most High God, and the Most High God for me. And I remember he just like turned around and was like, where'd that come from? I was like, I don't know. And so we just started, as fast as it's like, hold on a second, stand in front of the mirror, it's like, I can't stand it, look at that, it's like, and it's, so we just start writing stuff down. So when I feel like it comes like the rain, and it just falls down, it's just like, okay. And we wrote that song in under an hour.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it just happens, So, yeah. Good question, Jenny.
All right. So we have, let's see.
That's Truman.
If we have Truman, he says, where does your inspiration come from?
I'm really going to Florida now. Member of the Good News Church. My inspiration comes from, I think honestly, just asking God and being like, hey, what do you want me to say? But a lot of my inspiration also comes from my past. Mm-hmm. And there's a line in the song Chasing Rebels that says, if my past is now your present. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people out there listening are going through things that I've been through. And there might be a lot of people listening that have already been through things that I'm going through. Mm-hmm. And so I think the inspiration comes from real life problems and things that I've been through, things that I've had a hard time making it out of, times that I thought I couldn't make it, or times that I'm like, you know what, I've got this because God had me the whole time. So yeah, that's kind of where it's the truth, Truman. That's what it's the truth.
Yep.
And I love that, because if you go back and read the comments and stuff in your videos, you touch a lot of people, all these people talking about where they were, where they are now. And you really touch a lot of people, and you just see it through all the comments of your videos.
Yeah, I'm thankful. Yeah. Yep.
So Truman and Micah, they're both members. This next question, they're both members of the Good News Church Youth Band in Ocala, Florida. Okay. So Micah has another question. He says, has any other musicians shaped your style?
Wow, that is a great question. It's funny. I never really I think three kinds of music right now: classical music.
Love it.
I love worship music. And I also love metal music, if that makes sense. And so I'm like I love hard rock. I love the feeling and the aggression and the comfort that I find in there and getting that out. So I love rock music so much. I think I've taken inspiration from bands like Under Oath, Memphis Mayfire, as far as the rock side goes, classical side. I think like John Williams, I love everything that John Williams, and I think Jurassic Park, and he does all these Star Wars, exactly.
Come on.
I know I'm not a Star Wars guy, if you can't tell, but I love I just love the mix of those of kind of pulling from all different places. I also love, I've really been honing into the old spirituals, and I love the old traditional spiritual songs from days of slavery, and just old hymns from, old church time hymns and stuff. And it's funny because all that stuff is new to me, because I didn't grow up a Christian. I didn't grow up in church. And so I hear these old hymns like Amazing Grace, and I'm like, oh, wow, and they've been around forever. And I'm like, well, this is not new. So to me, it's new. So I kind of pull from all different areas. And if it's good and it's got God in it, and I feel it, and even not, some of the music that I listen to is not, definitely not Christian music, but looking at it from a Christian perspective, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's crying out. He's crying out for help, and he doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
So I think that's yeah, super cool. Thanks for that, Micah.
Great question. Yeah. And, you just released a little reel not too long ago of singing some of those old spiritual songs here at the jail.
I'm about to, yeah, I did. Absolutely. And I'm about to, I'm really starting to lean into those. I really love them. And I actually just filmed one this morning before this podcast. And so I'm excited to let people hear a little bit piece. And I think that the thing is too, is like my attention span is like the little squirrel from Ice Age, I'm like, what did you say? And so it's like, it needs to be, less than a minute. It can't be long because people are just like, they don't have time, and I don't have time. And so it's like, if you can really impact people, right off the go, I'm kind of leaning into that,
Amen.
So yeah.
And your voice, I mean, it just goes with those old songs.
It
got
does.
that
Thank you.
bluesy, spiritual. I mean, you can feel the
Thank
spirit
you.
and the passion in it.
Yeah, thank you. I've been feeling, and I can't wait. At some point, I do want to get myself back up there to do some more photo shoot. We had some amazing photos taken in your prison, in your jail. So I'm excited to come back up and take some more of those.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to have you.
So yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. So we have Sandra from Robbins, Tennessee, and she says, do you think that there is an awakening or a need to awaken in the country right now, i.e. the student-led Ashbury revival?
Yeah, that's so amazing. What I found is, and what I've seen all across this country is, yes, but I have found more than not, people are going through something.
Mm-hmm.
People are hurting. People are in a bad way. And I just think that they're looking for an answer. And like me, you've tried drugs, you've tried alcohol, you've tried sex, you've tried running away, you've tried filling it with, and this was a sermon that was just preached last week, filling it with good things. You try filling it with time, spending time with your best friend, or spending time with your dog, or devoting time to putting together puzzles, or just even healthy things. Mm-hmm. It's like it's still filling voids that are left that are not Jesus. And so I feel like the more that I see around this country, preaching on a soapbox and standing here with my Bible is not a good idea. Right. And I don't believe that works, because if you're like me also, you see that and you go, I don't want anything to do with that. Right. But when you tell your story and God has done something radical and ridiculous in your life, and you can see that and notice that, then you're like, okay, and you believe in him, then you can tell your story from a standpoint of, this is what God has done for me.
Yeah.
And I think people, like, if you're like me, I hate being told what to do. So I don't like, I'm surprised nobody stuck their head in this dressing room and been like, Ben, we need you. And so it's like, I hate being told what to do. So I'm going about this preaching the gospel thing in the way that, like, look, I love you. The greatest commandment of the Bible is love. Mm-hmm. And so it's just love one another. Right. And so I'm just loving people. And so if I just tell my story, like, hey, this is what God has done for me, and I'm just here to just tell you about it. And if you want to listen, that's cool. And if you don't, that's also really cool. Because I'm no different than you. So yeah, that's an amazing question, Sandra. I just think all the people that I've been meeting are hungry. And I've been meeting some 16-year-olds that have had guns in their mouths, and that they're tired and they're done.
Yeah.
And so I've just been providing them with my story that is Jesus, and that has changed my life, in hopes that maybe they'll ask him for help too.
Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that you are so raw in giving your testimony and being upfront and not putting on any airs or anything with it, just being real, I think you have gotten the reception because of that. I mean, your song lyrics alone, they're coming from you and your heart and your experiences. And I think that's what people are thirsty for right now.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle in Leesburg, Virginia says, have you ever had an experience where you thought this has to be divinely shaped?
Wow. I think, I really think, well, I go back to that moment of standing in church, and I can't, because I never would go into a place like that. And so now all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am standing into a place that I never would want to go into, that I was terrified of. And so did you lead me here, God? Like, and so I think that moment for me, I've realized that, like, oh, he was planning this the whole time. And he honestly was putting me through and allowing me to go through some of this hurt and some of these things so that I would just be in a place of desperation and be in a place of, okay, I've got nothing else that works. And so, yeah, I believe that moment of me stepping foot in church to hear the gospel for the first time was absolutely him walking me in through those doors going, okay, my son, it is time to go to work for me. Amen. It's time to go to work with me instead of fighting me. And so I can't, if I told you all the things, I mean, that he's done, I mean, just me not having a job for the last 4 years and money just showing up in my mailbox and with checks with no addresses, no return addresses, just things that are like, here, I've got you. I'm going to keep you going. Just have made me just not doubt, that it's him.
Amen.
So yeah, that's a great question.
And we have another lady from Virginia. So Cara from Reston, Virginia says, how frequently do you write new songs? And are there any new songs in the works now?
Wow, great question. I think yes. I'm going to answer that. Yes, there are songs in the works right now. I just left the studio yesterday. We have 4 new songs, some pretty powerful, amazing songs that we recorded them a couple weeks ago and with live musicians in the studio in Nashville. So I'm really excited. And I just put some finishing touches on vocals yesterday. So we're getting close to adding those songs to and making this kind of deluxe album, if you will. So I'm excited for the addition of these songs that most people haven't heard. We're playing one of them live. It's called Grace of God. We've been playing it live. You can feel shackles falling off. It's a prison type of song. People get up and dance. And I mean, it's a foot stomping, powerful song. So I'm excited about that. As far as frequently writing songs, being on tour is hard to write songs. I have a hard time flipping the switch between songwriter and artist, if you will, I guess. And so I feel like I go through seasons of songwriting, but I wrote about 12 songs last month.
Wow.
And so what we're trying to do is close off the chapter. And so I'll go a couple of months and then we'll close that chapter of my life off with some songs.
That's an interesting way to say that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, so you're reading this book of my life. And so there's the next chapter and we basically seal that with a dozen songs or so. And maybe 1 or 2 people will hear. Maybe the other ones, I don't know, maybe they're not great. Maybe they're not the best. Maybe it's not the best representation of the last chapter of my life. But we're kind of treating it like a book. Yeah. So.
Very cool. Okay, so we got Janet from Mesa, Arizona. She says, what is the one thing or point that you're trying to make to your listeners through your music?
Wow. Okay, Janet. Well, I think the biggest thing for me is just to let people know that they should never stop telling their story. And that Jesus has changed my life, and the name of Jesus, like who he is and what he's done, has changed my life. And so those 2 things, for me, have been the biggest. But yeah, when he changed my life, he's allowed me to not stop telling this story that is his story. And so, and by doing that, by telling my story, it gives permission to other people, to tell theirs. So yeah, Amen. I think that's kind of what I would hope and pray that people would get from hearing my lyrics.
Amen. I think we got 2 more.
Yes, 2 more questions. Yep. So Carol J from New York says, how do you choose your filming locations?
Oh my goodness. God, I think is the biggest
Amen.
thing. And I'm thankful. So it literally is like, it literally is, I pray and I just go like a week, 2 weeks before, we'll have a song, and all of a sudden it's like the label will call and they'll say, hey Ben, we'd love to shoot a music video for this song with you. Just let us know what you're thinking. And I immediately go, okay, cool, awesome. Hey God, you already knew that they'd asked me, but I just want you to can you show me where maybe you're thinking this video is going to be shot? And when I literally saw Scott County Jail before I saw Scott County Jail, it's just like, okay, wow. He showed me the prison. He showed me what it looked like. And then I walk into that place and go, this is this is almost to a T what I saw. And so I think it's awesome. I just ask God and say, hey, where do you want me to film this? Where do you want me to film this video? I've got ideas, but it's like his ideas are better. so clearly, because I wouldn't have met you girls. Hello.
Amen.
That's right.
Amen.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So one more, and this came from Janet. We actually broke up her question into two.
Okay.
What's the one thing that you would like the world to know about your music, your ministry? What do you want to leave people with?
Wow. I just want to leave people with the fact that they're not alone, and that God is with you, whether you know it or not. He has been with you the whole entire time. He was sitting beside me in my passenger seat when I was drunk driving my truck. Always. He was sitting beside me when I was contemplating suicide. He was riding alongside me in the bus this morning on the way to Louisiana. And I think that if you're at a point of needing help, if you're at a point of despair or loss, or I don't know if I can go on anymore, why don't you just try to ask God for help? And that's just what I've done, is just, God help me. And that's just the easiest prayer ever. It doesn't need to be some long drawn out thing that's on your knees and at an altar. It can be right here, right now. And you can just say, hey, God, I need your help. Please help me. I'm lost. I'm afraid. I'm scared. And I pray that prayer more times than you ladies would ever imagine, because there's a lot of times that I run out of my own. I find myself running on my own power again. And I'm scared, and so, what an amazing question that is, Janet. But that's what I would like the world to know, is that they're not alone, and they can ask God for help anywhere, anytime.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone that submitted your questions. We put that call out and you guys responded. So we're really appreciative of that and got some really great questions.
We did.
So good.
Yeah. And Ben, we can't thank you enough. To your point, I think we were meant to meet you. I think you were meant to be here. And the testimony that you share through your music, through your videos is just outstanding. And I know I'm a better person for having met you, and for having you be here. So again, thank you so much for what you do and how you do it.
Wow. Well, I am so blessed and thankful. Thank you for saying that. And I want you to know, Miranda, I take my, I left Scott County Jail with a prison shank. And
that's right.
I take that with me everywhere I go. And so don't tell the airlines that, but I do. But I really do. And my friends, I've had so many, my band picks on me about it. It's like, are you still got that prison shank from that prison? And I was like, oh, you never know. I might need to open some mail, some fan mail or something. No, so I'm just grateful. I miss you girls a whole bunch, and I'm just grateful to have met you and been there, and I can't wait to come back. I just know, and I think the coolest thing is like this piece of history that was written, the fact that God knew the whole time, and this video is going to live on, and it's just helping people every day. And I just meet people every day that are like, hey, that video. We saw that video, my cousin's in jail, my brother's locked up, and it's just, it's really cool. It's really powerful how God has been using it to speak to so many people across the United States and maybe the world now, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I had one last question about the video there. I know the inmate numbers that you have on the shirts. Was that symbolic? Did that have special meaning?
Yeah, it did. It's funny. I've got it written down somewhere what all of them mean, but they're like coded for like love and hope and faith. And it's I don't know who. I think that was Elliot. That like Elliot and his dad came up. The director and his dad came up with like the strength, like strength and like hope and faith and love and light I think was another one. And like, it was amazing, blew me away. So yeah, they are secretly coded. And I actually just wore, I think a few nights back, I just wore my prison shirt on stage. And so I've still got that baby. And I've been wearing that around. I tore the sleeves off of it, so I look more bad to the bone. I was like,
there you go.
Hulk a little bit, so it makes me look like I broke out. So
bring it home, Ben. Bring it home. There
yeah, that's right. I will. You bet. But yeah.
So if people want to.
Amazing.
If people want to follow you on tour, follow your music, where can they find all the information about you?
Ben Fuller Music on Facebook and Ben D Fuller on Instagram. I'm on there as well. And I try to reply to everybody and do my best to be real with everyone. And so, yeah. And then benfullerofficial.com is the website, and you can see the tour and all the stuff on there. And we try to update that on the daily. So.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Well, listen, you have been so gracious with your time. So you and Sony Music everybody who we've been involved with in this process, everybody has been so gracious and so professional, and we just can't thank you enough.
Wow. Well, thank you. And I'm gonna try to carve out some time to get back up there and pop in and say hi. So.
Absolutely, we'd love to see you. You're welcome in Tennessee anytime.
You bet. Awesome. All right.
Have a great day, Ben.
Love you, girl. See ya.
Love you. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Such a fun interview. For those who just joined us, that was a pre-recorded interview. So we know that everybody was leaving some comments over here while the interview was playing. Miranda did pull them up, but obviously he did not respond because that was a pre-recorded interview. But just an amazing guy, an amazing testimony. And he was just a great guy to have here at the jail, and really kind of highlighted, we were able to highlight his song through our jail. Is really touching moment.
Yeah, and busy guy. I mean, he's on tour right now with Casting Crowns. And I know if you go back onto the interview there, you can see their tour schedule. And also if you go to the different sites that we've been pushing up on the screen, we also have them over in the comments section. So you can go and do a quick click if you go back and scroll through the comments. But it's got his tour schedule up there on the website and everything. So check him out if you get the opportunity to see him in concert. I think that would be just a fantastic concert that he's doing right now with Casting Crowns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, we really do thank him for his time. And whenever he comes back to the jail, we'll be sure to let everybody know, and we'll probably get him to sit down and do another interview with us.
Yeah. And I just want to pull up again, if you've not seen the video, because Elliot and Sony Provident, everyone did such a beautiful job highlighting the jail and just the story behind it. So go and check that out. You can watch it there on YouTube. I know it's listed as one of his most popular videos right now. And as he said, it's one that's being played in jails and prisons all across the country. So that's a really cool ministry that he's got set up there.
Mm-hmm.
We also did pull up on the screen if the suicide prevention hotline number there. So we wanted to go ahead and pull that up again, just because that was a recurring theme through this conversation. And I know that it's one that is extremely important that we put out there. So so we want to make sure to put that up, and we will have that in the show notes as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, remember that if you're in the area next Saturday, we will have the blessing of the bikes here at the historic Scott County Jail from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have a food truck. Dean's Pit Stop will be here serving both breakfast and lunch. And come and have your bike blessed, tour the jail. Just really have a really fun day hanging out with us here at the historic Scott County Jail.
Yeah, and as of right now, the weather's supposed to be very, very nice next Saturday. So fingers crossed. And whatever dance you can do to make that work out, we would appreciate that very much.
Absolutely.
And also anyone, if you do want to, we do have a couple limited dates left. If you do want to do a guided daytime tour, as well as one of our guided ghost hunts. We don't have any flashlight tours on the schedule for this month. We may add one or two, but all of our Saturdays are booked up. I think we may have a Friday or a Sunday that might be available for a flashlight tour. So we'll have that, as well as our April escape rooms up probably by tomorrow, I think, for the month. So get on there, get that booked, and come see us, come see Sally. come check out the jail. We would love to meet you and be able to see you in person.
Yep, absolutely. So again, thank you all for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And again, thank you, Ben Fuller, for that really amazing interview. We had a great time speaking with him.
Yes, and next week we will be back live here on the Jailhouse Informant Podcast, and we will have. I just want to make sure that I put the right date up here, and of course I'm in 2022 because I was scrolling through the calendar earlier. Next week, we will have Dr. Harry Millman.
Harry.
Yeah.
Harry's going to be on next week. We're looking forward to this one. It's going to be a really fun interview. It's going to be different than our Jailhouse series. It's going to be different than what we just did with Ben Fuller. Harry's got an interesting background. He is a forensic pathologist. He did numerous autopsies. He's written several books on on death and famous people. So be sure to tune in next week because it'll be a fun conversation.
Yeah, he's going to be actually breaking down some of his cases that he's worked and talking about some of that because he is an expert witness. So we're going to be talking more on the true crime side next Saturday night. And then after
Sunday
that,
night.
Next Sunday night. And then we will be getting back to our normal Jailhouse series where we're visiting jails from around the country in 2 weeks from tonight. So we hope to see you all next week.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night and happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you all.